Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Chris, and this is my channel, We Love Comics. And today I am going to do a video I haven't done in a little while. Last one I did was last year, but I've gotten a lot of new comics and sold one or two of them since that time. So I thought an updated top 25 in my collection would be something people would be interested in. So if you are, stay tuned. Let's give a shout out to my paid Patreon members. I just got a new Patreon member, so we are up to 15 paid Patreon members, five more, and I start doing the contest. Well, we're getting really close. So if you join at patreon.com/, we love comics, you'll get your name up on this board and shouted out every video. And the newest addition to being a paid Patreon member is all paid pro- all paid Patreon members get early access to any future comic auctions, and you have the ability to request a list for the comics a week before the sneak peek video ever even comes out. So you have a chance to steal a comic from the auction before anybody else ever gets to see it by making an offer if you're one of my paid Patreon members. And you can contact me at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com next time I announce there's going to be an auction. So shout out to Sith Lord Michael B, Kevin W, Dan L, Herbert R, Annabelle N, Jason B, Kim N, Blessed, Joey S, and our latest and newest member, Ashton H. Welcome. And then you see the last remaining ones. If you want, instead of just your name, if you would like me to shout out your YouTube channel or your social network, or if you have a website for a business that you want me to promote, as long as it's kid friendly, I have no problem with doing that. So you can let me know in advance, and I'll do more than just the name for you. So on YouTube, Kendall Kid Comics, Instagram at Scott WU077, on Facebook, Stephen L. Turk Author, and then I made the correction on this on Instagram at Silver Age Surfer _comics. So if you want to pause that, like I said, five more people. We're up to 20 paid members, and I start doing the raffle where we have the giveaways. The more paid members, the better the giveaways that we will give away. I will ship anywhere in the world, and I will pay the shipping and handling. Speaking of which, Silver Age Surfer _comics is here. Welcome. Just gave you your shout out. And Douglas Boggs is here also. So welcome. Let's do the video. So without the video camera on, you can't see the comic. So unlike what most people do with theirs, not only will I show the list, I'm going to tell you the prices I paid for them, because I think that is important, because deals are always out there, and I like to be as transparent with my collection as I can. That helps people. Now, keep in mind, I make deals, I wait for deals, so you may not ever find these prices, but don't ever cut yourself short, because as a matter of fact, you'll notice usually by the end of the month, I do my four comics that I'm going to be sending to PGX. I haven't done that yet because I just acquired about 2 days ago at 3 o'clock in the morning about four key comics that I never thought I would be able to get again. And two of them I want to include in the next four books I put out. That's how good they are. I cannot wait to share those with you when I get them. They sent them the next day, so the seller is really amazing. Great communication. Let's just say they're big key issues, ones that I sold and never thought I would get again, but never say never. So that's doing well. And wow, that's nice. Silver Surfer just did a $10 um contribution there. I that's really nice of you. Says Chris, I hope you're doing well. Let's just say things have been rough, especially weather-wise. Anybody that lives in southern Florida, from the mid part of Florida down, can attest to this. For the past 8 days straight, and going to be for the next week, we have experienced every single day temperatures with the heat index, with the humidity and everything, between 105 and 115 every single day without break. And as a matter of fact, at night, it drops down to 98 to 102. So things have been a little bit interesting, but that's really nice of you. Thank you, Silver Age Surfer. Really appreciate your generosity. So, everybody give him a shout out and check him out on Instagram, because like I said, it's Silver Age Surfer _comics. So, the kindness goes a long way. So that's very nice of you. And like I always tell people, that anybody that joins my Patreon, like 95% of any of the contributions that go towards helping all the stray cats that I take care of. Because trust me, with this weather, making sure they have plenty of water and everything, making sure any medications they need are provided, definitely takes its toll, and your kindness is definitely appreciated. So let's start with our top 25. And if you want to share this, great. If you want to subscribe or unsubscribe, I'll leave that up to you. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Again, leave that up to you. Happy you're here regardless of the motive. So let's start out with the worst, going up to the best. So, number 25. Absolutely love this book. This is Batman number 59 from the Golden Age. This is the first appearance of Deadshot, which, if you ever read this book, and I actually have a coverless copy of this book as well, so I did read it. Deadshot looks nothing like the character you know and love today if you are a DC fan of Deadshot. Basically, he's kind of like a male version of Zatanna in that aspect. So he's definitely changed over the years, but this is still his first appearance. This book I bought raw, and it ended up, it had three staples on it, which I don't understand why somebody added staples to it. So I removed the extra staple, so it no longer needed it. Found out the two original staples were still there. So actually, this is what it was. There were three staples. And I removed all three of those staples, thinking, all right, I'd rather have no staples than, modern staples. And I found out when I opened it up, the two original staples were in there. So why this person put three extra staples on it, I have no idea. So when I got it sent in to get graded, it came back as restored because it had minor color touch. And this is what I tell people all the time. One of the best restorations you can ever hope for if you're going to have a comic with restoration is minor color touch. Because this is what I did. See this area right there? See these areas right here? That was all filled in with marker. Somebody took a marker and just went along the edge a little bit. So all I did is rip that off, resent it in, and now it's no longer restored. So it went from a 3.0 restored. It did go down a grade, but now it's unrestored. So like I say, if you're going to get a restored book, if you can find one where it just says minor color touch, and you can find it, because 99 out of 100 times the color touch is going to be on the cover. So if you could see a little spot where they maybe colored something in with a pen, and maybe it's just a little circle or something, you could literally rip it out and then resend it in to get graded, and it won't be restored anymore. So that to me is a smart way to be able to get your, comics improved in grade and value, even if the grade goes down a little bit. So that's number 25. Number 24, another Golden Age book. This one is restored, but certain books you don't care. I bought this years ago and nobody ever thought of buying this. I don't understand it, but I'm glad no one did. This is World's Finest. As you can see, number 2. Now, this started out, number 1 issue is called World's Best. And then issue 2, they changed it to World's Finest, where it remained throughout the entire run of this comic book until modern days. So it was only one issue number 1, where it's called World's Best, and then it became World's Finest. So this is technically, even though it's issue number 2, it is the first appearance of World's Finest. So it does have some restoration, color touch. Oh, and I forgot to mention how much I paid for this other one. I only paid 365 bucks for this when all said and done. So for Batman 59 and have all those things happen where the person never checked the book to find out if the original staples were in it and just happened to have three extra staples. I don't know if the seller put those staples or he bought them that way and never bothered to check, but I removed those three staples and the original staples were still on the book. How that happened, I have no idea, but that's why it's good to pay for to check your books. Now this has tape on it, but that doesn't make restoration. What it does is it has moderate color touch. Now this is one where they colored it in a bunch of different spots, not all over the whole thing as you can see, but there's too much for it to be removed. So it's not even worth doing it because I mean, you go from a 3.5 down to like a 2 or a 1.5, and I'm just not willing to do that with this. But this is definitely a book worth collecting, and not many people have this book. And absolutely love that I got this. Paid only $430 for this, of course, ungraded. Now you could see it's a little bit different because it's not in the regular casing, because this book was too big to put in PGX's regular holder. So they encapsulated and graded it. So they put the inner lining and everything. They just don't have the outer case. So I just put it in a regular um, bag, and then I put a cardboard to keep it from ever bending. So that's number 24. 23. Absolutely love this book. We got Tales to Astonish, number 13, first appearance of Groot. Not an easy book to get. Bought this raw, came back a 3.5 off white to white pages. Of course, this is the first appearance of Groot. And I actually was reading this book. Now, obviously, now that it's graded, I can't read it. But Groot in here is nothing like what you saw in the Guardians of the Galaxy. He's a villain here. He talks, and he was basically just one of those generic monsters they used to do, like goofy monsters they used to do in the Golden and Silver Age. But Guardians of the Galaxy turned him into a widely recognized character that people loved, especially Baby Groot. So that really dramatically increased the value of this book. But if you can get your hands on this book, highly recommend it because again, not easy to find. All right, next up. This is another book. It ended up, I bought it raw. They didn't tell me that the staples were replaced. You never know. They might not have known, so I'll always give people the benefit of the doubt. But even with that, this book still has some value. This is Incredible Hulk issue number 2. It is the first time the Hulk is green, where obviously he became the most popular version. 3.5 off-white pages, but it does, like it says, staples replaced with vintage staples. So if I ever wanted to, I could remove those staples, but I honestly don't think that one's a big deal. They do mark that the cover's held together with tape at staples, and I think that's why I never removed the staples, because as you could see, whoever put those new staples put tape over it, so you'd be ripping parts of it off to get to the staples. It's probably why I would never take them out. But again, the tape is not restoration. Um, don't know what I paid for this because I don't have the price on it, but I believe I paid, I think 500 for this book. It's still, even in with the restored, with the staples replaced, still way above what I paid for it. Have a couple of copies of this. I sold a couple of copies over the years. One of them, much higher grade to be able to buy this house here in Florida. So low grade is better than no grade. We have our Avengers number 1. It's only a 1.5, but I don't mind lower grades, especially if I can get them for a decent price. Now you can see the iconic area where they show the characters has been cut out, and part of the cover has been cut out. So whoever owned this cut out the major heroes, but they left Loki there. So it's not in the best of condition, but I still own the first appearance of the Avengers. And for the price I paid, definitely still worth it. It has off white to white pages. I paid a total of $528 for this book. And again, that always includes shipping and handling and taxes, but I think I bought this before eBay started doing the taxes, but that includes everything, including grading costs. So 528 bucks for Avengers number 1, even though it's not in the most beautiful of shape, I'll take it. Same thing with this one. When I bought this book years ago, back when I was living in New York, so at least 8 years ago, I think I bought this. People laughed at me when I bought it and they thought I was crazy. This Amazing Spider-Man number 1. It's only a point 0.3 because it has a facsimile cover. There are 2 pages missing, but it does not affect the story. So they do mark that it is coverless, facsimile cover added, staples removed, and the last two pages are missing, but does not affect the story. That's why it gets a point 0.3 because it is. You can get either some companies will just do an NG no grade, but even CBCS also does a point 0.3. I'd rather have the point 0.3 than an NG, to be perfectly honest. But if you've ever seen somebody buying just a page of Spider-Man number 1, you'll spend anywhere from $300 to $500 just for one graded page of this book. I paid $464.90 for this book. So it's almost complete, but the story is complete because the last 2 pages, I guess, are just advertisement. So I have, Spider-Man's first book. Now, I don't have the money to be buying, complete copies. And for $464, basically 465 if you round it up. I mean, how do you go wrong with this when one page of this book will sell for $500? So for me, it was a no-brainer. I highly recommend don't ever let anybody else dictate what you buy or what you end up shying away from because other people said they'd never buy it. I never care about what other people would buy. I mean, I'm glad whatever they buy makes them happy, but I buy for me. And if I look at it as if 9,999 people out of 10,000 say they would never buy something, I'll be the one that does. That just means less competition, means less chance I'll either be outbid or go into a bidding war paying 10 times more than what I would have. So I'm very happy with that book. Same thing with this. I've had a 6.0 of this book, but that was one of the books I sold back when I was living in New York to get this house. So I don't think I'll be able to afford a 6.0, but you never know what you find. But I'll be happy with a 2.0 in the meantime. I have one other copy, I think is either a 1.8 or a 1.5. But as you can see again, it looks like somebody cut out the Daredevil part there, but everything else is intact. I do not have the price on this, but I know I paid um around $525 for this book, give or take. I mean, I can always look it up, but I believe it was around $525. So for the first appearance of Daredevil, even though he's in his banana suit, very happy to have that in my collection. And you could see they cut that part, they just ripped that whole part out. So, you know what? One man's junk is another man's treasure. This is a book I sold. I only had one copy of. I sold it at one of my auctions years ago, and I'm like, that's one of those books that I don't think I'm ever going to get back. And it's funny, I've said that a bunch of times now, especially like I said, books that are going to be arriving. They say Monday, but we'll see. You know how the postal service and everything works. But this is a book I didn't think I'd get back, and not only did I get it back, lower grade than what I originally had, because the one I had was a 3.5. But for the price I paid for it, definitely happy. So we got Brave and the Bold 28. That's, of course, is the first appearance of the Justice League of America. Respectable low grade of a 2.0, but for 2.0 presents pretty darn well. This is about a $2,000 book, give or take. I paid only $967. So I basically paid about half of what it was worth at the time. And who knows what they're doing with the DC reboot. But if they do a Justice League movie, well, there's going to be more desirability of this book, which means the book price will go up. But even without movies, books like this are going to go up regardless. They might just take a little bit longer. All right. Next up, this is a book I've had for a while. It's another book I got for a great price. I don't have the sticker on it, but I know what I paid for it. I could be off by $1. I only paid about 484, could be $485 for this book. But of course, Journey into Mystery, 85, first appearance of Loki. Absolutely love this book. And also, um, first appearance of Heimdall, Asgard, and the first appearance of Odin in a cameo. So a lot of important characters in this first appearance of this book. Nice, respectable 4.0 grade, off-white pages. I actually had this for sale in my last auction. I was actually surprised there were no takers, but to be honest, I was actually glad because this is my only copy, and that's another difficult book to reacquire. So in a way, I was actually glad that no one wanted it. Okay, next up. This has the first wrap folio is married. What that means is somebody took a page from another book and put it in here. So it's not like it's a fake copy of it or anything like that, but it is what it is. The buyer did not tell me that. They may not have known, who knows, but came back a 5.5. They did give me a partial refund, so I only paid $800 for this book. So at a 5.5, even though and it shows the first wrap is married, for Amazing Spider-Man number 14, first appearance of the Green Goblin, and remember, first appearance of his magical broomstick, because the second issue that Green Goblin is in, which is Amazing Spider-Man 17, he has his actual glider that he uses from then on. So 5.5 white pages for $800. I'll take that purchase anytime. I'm sure many of you would too. This one, I really don't know its value, but it's definitely got value behind it. But this is such a rare Golden Age comic that I barely ever see any of them for sale. And the one or two that I've seen were either incompletes or 0.5s or coverless. So this is a hard book to tell its value, but absolutely love this book. This is Submariner issue number 2. This is the second ever Stan Lee story. It also is an Alex Schumberg cover with a nice little 1.5. It's a gray cream to off-white pages from 1941. It has glue along the spine, but I'll be perfectly honest. I don't see glue as restoration because tape does the same thing pretty much glue does. It's to hold the book together, and they do not consider tape restoration. I think as long as the glue, like if somebody put so much glue that it stained it all over the place, then I could see that as something. But if somebody just put a little bit of glue to keep it together, it's just my opinion. You may differ, but I just do not think that this is something that would be considered restoration, or to me, even a big deal. Value of this book, I've seen later editions of the Submariner books go for $5,000, $6,000. I don't know what this is worth, but it's definitely worth something. It's complete. It's a 1.5. No coupons missing. The back, and again, for a 1.5, looks pretty darn good, especially for that age. Um, I paid a total of $979 for this book. In my opinion, I believe I got a steal on this one. But I guess time will tell if anyone ever makes an offer or I end up selling it. But again, second Stan Lee story ever. If only I had that signed by Stan Lee. Kind of hard to do now. Another book that I was telling people years ago to buy back when I was living in New York. Most people didn't listen to my advice, and to each their own. Most people laughed at my things that because I was way ahead of my time for these. This book is still, movie has not come out yet, but it's going to. So if people didn't want to listen, I'll just take every one I could find and rack up the profits on it. I bought this book raw. This is, of course, Giant Size X-Men #1. First appearance of Storm, Colossus, Nightcrawler, Thunderbird. Also, second full appearance of Wolverine. Absolutely love this book. Beautiful book. I actually, when I got this graded, I thought it was going to come back higher than what I thought. But I'll take a 7.5. I mean, the colors absolutely pop on this. I paid, and I'll show you the back. And look how white that is. I paid $215 for this book. This is roughly now about a $3,000 book, and we have the X-Men coming soon. Let's hope they do it justice. Another book I bought back when I was living in New York. It's not cracked or anything. I actually have to replace the bag because the bag, sometimes when you're putting them back, they get caught on each other, so it kind of tore it. So I have to get this one, just the bag replaced. But I bought this one. It was a CGC 8.0. But I noticed even when I bought it, I knew it had pressable defects that could be improved. But because it was an 8.0, for years I was kind of nervous to do it. I didn't want to take the chance because I was like, what if it gets lost or, whatever, if something happens. And then I got to the point where I just lost my fear of all those things. That's why if you've ever watched my videos where I send books out to get graded, I'll send major key books and I'll never really get myself concerned about it. But it ended up coming back. And I'll show you. But this is Amazing Spider-Man number 129, first appearance of the Jackal and first appearance of the Punisher, which is going to be in the new Spider-Man movie. Obviously, until it comes out, anything can change, so you never know. But they would be crazy not to do that. I mean, how many of you would be excited about a Spider-Man and Punisher team up? I think that would be great if done right. Came back after I resent it in to get pressed, a 9.0. Because what happened was, I know when I bought this book, I could see that it had an indent all up and down the spine that had non-color breaking creases. So at some point, somebody stacked this in raw books and it caused that little indent. So I knew that cracking this open, it was going to go up. I took the chance and it went from an 8.0 to a 9.0. I only paid $547.95 for this book. As of now, this is about a $3,000 book, give or take. And when they show trailers for The Punisher and Spider-Man, if that does indeed happen and they don't change it or cut it out, that book is just going to continue to go up. So, I mean, if you can get your hands on it in a 129 in any grade, get it while you can. This was an acquisition I got this year. Absolutely love this book. There are only 45 of these on the CGC census, and of the 45, only 38 of them are a blue label. So the rest are either qualified or restored. Absolutely love this book. So I have one of them in a blue label. This is Sensation Comics issue number 2. This is Wonder Woman's 3rd overall appearance and only 2nd cover appearance. So remember, her first appearance is All-Star Comics 8, but she's not on the cover. Her first cover appearance is Sensation Comics number 1, but that's definitely out of my price range because even at a 1.0, this is not a cheap book. This came out in 1942. It says the spine of cover is completely split and cover detached. I mean, that's expected with a 1.0. Cream to off-white pages, but it is complete. It is a blue label. Absolutely love this book. And like I said, 3rd appearance of Wonder Woman ever, 2nd ever cover appearance. And of the 45 on the CGC census, only 38 are in the blue label. So there's only 37 of the others of these in the blue label. I paid $2,138.93. And this person was selling it on eBay for $3,000. Not even with the best offer. Just $3,000. And I contacted them, got them down $1,000 to 2,000. So with shipping and handling and taxes, it came out to $2,138.93. So deals can be made if you're not afraid to take the chance. I see Kim is here. Says hello. Constipated in Sin City as well. Welcome. All right, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is issue number 11. Absolutely can't wait to see what they do with this character. Let's hope they do it justice and do it right. Fantastic Four, issue number 5. First appearance of Doctor Doom. If you can grab this book, even a coverless copy, if you can find a good deal, get this book. I was telling people again, since I was in New York, get this book. Most people didn't listen because, like I said, I was way ahead of my time. You can go back to the videos I show back when I was living in New York that I was recommending books that are still people are recommending to get today. That's how far ahead I was. But this is a CGC book. It's a 2.0. I don't believe this could be improved with the pressing and dry cleaning, so I'm not going to be cracking this one open, but I'm happy with it. First appearance of Doctor Doom at a 2.0. Off-white pages. Not bad, again, for a book from 1962. Paid $1,100. Again, when I bought this, back when I bought it, people thought I was crazy to buy it. This is again roughly about a $3,000 to $4,000 book at this point in that grade as of now, and probably going up since I won't give any spoilers, but from what I heard from Fantastic Four about an end credit scene, but I'm not going to tell you what. Another book, I never thought I would acquire this book ever in my lifetime. It's only a 0.5, but I'm going to be very happy with that because, like I've said in the past, I have about 4 books that are coverless. One I already showed you in this series. But this one is interesting because the seller, seemingly unaware of what coverless means, was selling this book as coverless. But what happened is it has the original back cover. Now look how gorgeous the original back cover was, because back in those days, any unsold comics, if you ripped off the front cover and mailed it back, they would give you a credit. So that's why this does not have the front cover, but it still has the back cover. So this is not coverless. So I think when people saw the auction and they saw it as coverless, most people backed away. But because I took the chance to take a look at it and saw that the original back cover was still there and attached to the book, I knew it wasn't a coverless book, because if it was completely coverless, you'd either get a point 0.3 or an NG grade. This came back a point 0.5. Now it does have a reproduction facsimile cover, but I don't care. But it's because it's just the front cover. Showcase number 4, key book that started the Silver Age. First appearance of Barry Allen as the Flash. Continuation from the Golden Age. Now Barry Allen took over. This is a iconic book. I've seen so many people with this book, and I was always so jealous of it. Happy for people that could get it, but I'll take a point 0.5. It's complete. It's just missing the front cover. It is cream to white pages. And again, just imagine what the front cover would have been like with the back cover looking that great. This would have probably been an 8.0. I mean, that's gorgeous. I mean, you never know. Somebody could spill coffee on the front cover for all we know. But I'll take a point 0.5. I paid $3,226.05 for this book. Very happy to own it. All right, so the top 10. This is another one. I was telling people I got this back when I was living in New York. I was telling people this is an absolute book to get. As a matter of fact, the book before it, I said, was the most undervalued Bronze Age book in Marvel Comics, in my opinion. Still is to this day. I have many copies of this. As a matter of fact, the auction that I'm doing, by the way, on Sunday, August 3rd, my auction's coming this Sunday, so hopefully you'll check that out. You still have time to check out the sneak peek video and make any offers for any books. And one person made an offer for a book. I accepted it, and then never heard from them again. Don't understand that, but it is what it is. But stay tuned for that Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. But this book, not this particular one, but a lower graded version of this book, somebody bought with the sneak peek, before the sneak peek, one of my paid Patreon members. I'm not going to say who it is. But we got Hulk 181. First appearance, well, first full appearance of Wolverine. Hulk 180 is his first appearance. Absolutely a must have, in my opinion. Again, Hulk 180 is one of the most undervalued Bronze Age Marvel comics, in my opinion. 8.5. I bought this book originally as a CGC 8.0, but again, I saw it had crease that could be improved with the pressing. Didn't bring it up much, but I'll go from an 8.0 to an 8.5. A little bit of a bump is better than no bump. So very happy with this. Has the Marvel stamp in it. Obviously, since I got this graded, I sent it in myself. Off-white to white pages. Paid only $1,567 for this book. So I was telling people years ago, buy as many of these as you can. And I hope there were a few people that took my advice. Because again, that's about a $3,500 book, give or take. Number 9. Now this one, I and many people do not agree with the grade, but I'm just not going to resubmit it. If I ever sell it, I'm going to sell it as a 0.5, not a 1.0. But again, it's another book I never thought I would own in my lifetime. This book has absolutely seen better days, but at least I still own the first appearance of the Incredible Hulk. So even though PGX gave this a 1.0, it's one of the few times that I do not agree with the grade. But to me, to just crack it open, if I ever sell this book, I'll sell it in the 0.5 range price-wise. As you could see, there was a lot of bug and rodent chew. This went all the way through, but it's the first appearance. It's not restored unless you consider bug chewing and rodent chewing restoration. But, say it with me, low grade, as Constipated in the City says, low grade is better than no grade. I'm very happy to own this book, especially for the price I paid. I only paid $2,330.62 for what's really going to be a zero point 0.5 of the Incredible Hulk #1. But I'm very happy to own it. And who knows if I ever get another version, I'd think about selling it, but got to worry about that if and when that ever happens. All right. This is one of those that I highly recommend to understand about grading companies. Is CGC the #1 grading company? I will not dispute that. Are they the #1 grading company in every scenario? Maybe not, depending on your situation. Each company is going to give you pluses and minuses. Never go with things just because somebody says, or the majority of people say, oh, this is the #1 company, so you have to do it. And I'm going to explain how I made a steal of a lifetime with this book. I bought this book. It was a CGC 9.8, but it was a green label because it's a signed book. And at the time I bought it, CGC did not do signature verification. So whoever sent this book to get graded sent it to the wrong company because they should have sent it to either, because at the time, the two major companies were CBCS and PGX that do signature verification. I don't think EGS was in the business at that point, okay? Because CBCS and PGX do signature verification. But because this person probably assumed, or other people told them, or they thought themselves that because CGC is the best company, they should send this book in. So they sent a signed book to CGC, where again, at the time, they did not do signature verification. It came back in 9.8, but a green label saying writing on the cover. I bought this book at the time for half of what it was worth because no one would touch it. I knew the value of the book because I knew I could buy it for, again, at the time, 50% less than what it's already worth. Just crack it open, send it to PGX, have them get the signature verification. I don't think there's another copy of this that exists, and I'll explain why. This is Invincible #1. It is a 9.8, so it stayed a 9.8. So again, this was originally, and you can watch my videos. I don't know which one, and if anybody ever wants to find it and they put a link in the comment section, I'll give you a personal shout out. But I have the video up. It's probably in the last 3 to 4 years that I have the video where I show it. It was a CGC 9.8 green label. So it stayed the 9.8, but it is signed by Robert Kirkman. If you look up all the CGCs and any CG or any graded 9.8 of Invincible #1, first print, by the way, not one of them has Robert Kirkman's signature. So I am, as far as I know, the only person, unless somebody either hasn't had it graded or they're just not selling it, I am the only person to own Invincible #1 first print in a 9.8 signed by Robert Kirkman, who is the creator of not only Invincible but Walking Dead. I paid $470 for this book. A regular 9.8 of this book unsigned sells for $5,000 to $5,500. I've seen it as low as I think $4,000 for an unsigned. I've seen signed copies sell for $5,500 to $6,000. But again, not one of them has Robert Kirkman. All the others have Corey Walker as the signature. Now, as good as Corey Walker is, who is the artist that did the cover and the artwork, the creator, Robert Kirkman, is not only more desirable, but more famous and is more valuable. So who knows what this value could be? But again, because it was a green label, because somebody sent it to CGC, which was the wrong company for this book at that time, I managed to get a steal for a book that at the time was worth about $900. So I bought about a $900 book for $470, and now this book is probably $6 to $8 grand because of that signature. And again, those that follow my videos, and they can go find it if they want, they'll see this was originally a CGC 9.8, so no one could say, oh, PGX gave you a grade bump. They gave the same grade as CGC did, only they ended up verifying the signature, so it didn't have a green label. So $470 for Invincible #1, 9.8, with, as far as I know, the only Robert Kirkman signed copy. You want to talk about rare books? That's a rare book. All right, here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is number 6. Then we get to the top 5. If you've been following my channel for any time now, and if you have, put it in the comments section. Let me know how long you've been following my channel, even if it's off or on. Tell me if you can remember what year you started to watch my channel. Okay, put it in the comment section or you can put it live. If you've been watching my channel long enough, you should know the #1 modern comic that I've been telling people to buy since roughly 2017. Why I didn't buy multiple copies of this version of the book is beyond me. But when you want to talk about a steal, it wasn't at the time. It took years, but I knew this character was gonna become something, and this character has not even seen a live action version yet. But I promise you they will be doing it. And to me, this was a no-brainer. And when you hear the price I got for this is why I wish more people would have listened to me, because I was always out there ahead of the curve. I could see things where they were going, and I wanted to share that. I could have easily kept all that information to myself and profited from it, but I wanted to help my viewers. People want to hate me now because of that. That's fine. But Ultimate Fallout 4, the 1 in 25 variant. Now you could see by Spider-Man's crotch, it is signed. It is a 9.8. Go look up an unsigned copy of this being sold on eBay. A 9.8 of this book, they're selling for $20,000 unsigned. Now, anybody can sell anything for any amount. It's what people are willing to pay. A regular 9.8 of this unsigned sells for about $10,000 to $12,000. This is signed by Sarah Pacelli. 9.8 with white pages. 1 in 25 variant. First appearance of Miles Morales. This book, like I said, if you look up right now, 9.8s of this book sell between 10 and 12,000 unsigned. Signed copies of this book, there are no sales, but people list it from 20,000 and up. Who knows? But I bought this raw. This is what I paid for it. When nobody was listening to me and everybody was laughing at me. I paid $159 for this book raw, signed. Because no one would touch it. Nobody believed in it. Good luck finding it for $1,000 now. I wish people would have listened to me. Many people bought the regular copy. I wish I would have bought more copies. But by the time I started realizing the price jump, at that point it was already $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 for that book. At the time, I just didn't have the finances. So just the opportunity never arose again. But hey, one copy, 9.8, signed, paid $159 for. So here's my top 5. This book was the first book, my first holy personal grail book that I got last year, the end of last year. This was a book, had a little bit of controversy on it when I first got it. Got it graded. Well, actually, it was a CGC book. It was a 2.5. Okay. This person was selling it for, I think, 7,500, or was it 5,000? I don't remember. But I paid $2,468.50 for this book. Journey into Mystery 83. Oh, it was a CBCS. I still have the label. I started doing that since this book. I wish I would have done it with all the others. I got to put it in the other one, actually. I still have the label to show the Amazing Spider-Man 129 that I showed earlier. There's the 8.0. I should put that in the back of the book. I wish I would have done that for the Invincible book and the others, but at the time I didn't think about it. But I have the label for this one. So you could see it was originally a CBCS 2.5, but again, it had pressable defects. The beautiful thing about knowing about comics is, especially if you buy a graded book, especially more expensive books, it's already going to be expensive enough for a person to get a book like this graded. So to add the whatever amount it's going to cost to get something pressed, a lot of them just don't do it, or some don't even know it's an option, or some don't even know what is pressable and don't want to take the chance. Again, I'm not afraid to take the chance. So 2.5 to a 3.0, not a huge jump, but when you're talking personal Grail books, the first appearance of Thor, I'll take a 3.0. Now, the reason this was controversial at the time when I first got it is for some reason it looks like some kind of nail polish or something dropped on here. And people were saying, well, what if this is the UK variant? And this is how you can find out because the UK variant would say, I think, 9p, which is 9 pence instead of 12 cents. But you can't read it because whatever this was covered it. So somebody thought, oh, well, a couple of people thought they did that on purpose to try and trick people. This is how you can tell if it's from the US or the UK. If under the 83, if you see a date, which is August, then it is the US version. If it just said 83 and it was blank below the number, it would be the UK version. The reason being is when they shipped this to the UK, they were not sure when it was going to be distributed, so they didn't bother to put the month in this section. So if you have 83 and it says AUG, which is short for August, you have the US version. If it just says 83 and the rest is blank, you have either, well, you don't have to worry about the Golden Record reprint, but you would have the UK version. If you had the Golden Record reprint, it wouldn't even have the price there at all, so that makes it even easier. But I paid $2,468.50 for the first appearance of Thor. Absolutely love this cover, love this character. Chris Hemsworth did an amazing job of Thor, and I don't think he's done yet. I think he's got at least another movie or two in him, and I hope so. But a 3.0, incredibly happy with that. Number 4. This was my big personal grail I bought right before I shut my original We Love Comics channel down. I had my original version from 2015 till the beginning of, I think, 2017, and I shut it down because of the abuse I was getting then. I mean, I was always blasted just for the fact that I was not afraid to speak my own mind. And it's even worse today. People hate me for that. But, you know, people gonna hate. But I bought this and got it, I think, like a week after I shut the channel down and just gave up. I deleted my channel, reopened it about 6 months later. This was my number 1 for a while. This is now my number 4. X-Men number 1. Now, this was originally a CGC 3.0, but when I moved from New York to Florida, during the moving, the case cracked. So there was, I don't remember, I think the case was cracked all the way over here. So I had to get this resubmitted, and sending it back to CGC would just be too expensive because they want a percentage of the value of the book plus insurance and shipping and yada yada yada. It would have probably cost me $200-300 to get this book regraded with CGC. But because I have the deal with PGX, they graded it for me. Now, it did not improve the grade because I also thought a pressing could help this one, but it went from a CGC 3.0 to a PGX 3.0. So again, PGX isn't trying to do me any favors, and they're better graders than most people think. It depends on the grader, it depends on the day. Every company can get a grade wrong, but it now has an uncracked case. Because let me ask you, would you rather buy a CGC 3.0 with a cracked case or a PGX 3.0 without a cracked case? Because remember, cracked case is going to make it less desirable. And if you want to resubmit it to get another case, it's going to cost you a lot of money to get it done. So instead of paying extra money for the book and then spending extra money to get it recased, you can get a little bit cheaper version that you don't have to do any of that stuff with. Because remember, if you send something in, it can get lost. It can get stolen. You can have what happened for years in the CGC controversy where people stole the book and replaced it with a lower grade without you knowing. If you have it already done, you don't have to worry about things happening. So all's good with that. Kim, good to see you. Just wanted to let you know, I was about to email you. Just wanted to let you know this came in the mail just now. So Kim just wanted to let you know that I received that. So thank you. He's one of my moderators. Good to see you. Sergio also is here. Welcome. But yeah, I paid $2,067 for this book. So roughly about $2,000 for this book. This is about a $8,000 book. Will go up with the X-Men movie. First appearance not only of the X-Men, but of Magneto. So for $2,067, and again, that's with shipping and handling. Absolutely loving it. Top three. This book, I don't think I'll ever sell. I mean, if somebody blew me away with the price, I would absolutely consider it. I got to change the bag because again, the bag is kind of all ripped. Um, but this is a book. It has such an amazing story to it. When I bought this book, this is a golden age book. When I bought this book, the seller was under the assumption that this was a coverless a coverless book complete, but had a facsimile cover. When I bought it, and I still have the video to this day here, you can see it yourself. When I opened this book, did the unboxing, and I looked at this cover, I said, if this is a facsimile cover, it's a pretty darn good one. I did notice it looked a little different, and I'll explain what that is after I reveal it. But for years, I actually tried to sell this. When I had my comic store at the flea market, when I first moved here back in 2019, I was trying to sell this book for $1,000. But I was selling it because it was at the time not graded. It was a raw book. So I was selling it as coverless with a facsimile cover because that's what I was told. And for $1,000, no one wanted to touch it. I guarantee you, anybody that saw that book at the flea market that didn't pick that up and bought it is probably kicking themselves now because I was expecting, eventually I got to the point, it's like, I want to get this book graded, have it encapsulated. And I thought it was going to come back a 0.5 or a 0. Well, it would come back an NG or a 0.3 because it was supposedly a facsimile cover. When it came back, I was shocked to find out that it was not a facsimile cover. It was the original cover, still completely attached to the cover. It's just, the spine was rebuilt. There's extensive color touch. So I'll show that and why somebody thought this was a facsimile cover. It was reinforced and the cover was trimmed. So whoever owned this book at one point trimmed it a little bit, the cover, and they literally took a yellow highlighter and highlighted all the yellow in the background and then red magic marker in the red spots. So I can understand with all of that, and it was reglossed. So I can imagine that whoever had it thought this was a facsimile. It wasn't. It was just somebody had fun coloring this book in. This is Superman #2. Second ever Superman comic. Well, in his own series, not including Action Comics. Came back a 4.0. Tan to white pages. This is from 1939. It also has a full page ad for the 1939 New York World's Fair comics. When I bought this book, again, like I was saying with a couple of the other books, people laughed at me. A 0.5 of this book, if you look on eBay, is selling for about $7,000 to $8,000 for a 0.5. This is a 4.0, albeit restored. And again, like I said, you could see it. All of the yellow is in highlight, and all of the red on these two spots is red highlighter. So I think that's what they might have thought is gloss, but it doesn't look like somebody took a crayon. So it does kind of make it look fake. I paid $385 for this book, And it was not a buy it now. This was an auction. Nobody touched it. I was the only one that saw the value of that book, even if it did have a facsimile cover. Because how often do you come across a book like Superman #2? Now, there is no significance of the book other than the advertisement for the World's Fair comic, but again, that's not a major thing. It's not like a first advertisement for Detective Comics 27, but it's issue #2 of Superman. You know, somebody selling I think a 1.8 for like 12 to $14,000. So for me, at $385, if you add $385 right now and you saw this on eBay, would you buy it? Put it in the comment section of the live chat. I guarantee you every person with any kind of common sense would have ran to the bank. They would have moonwalked to the bank to put that $400 in the bank to make sure this could be paid for. But again, people laughed at me. That book is my third most valuable book. This, for a while, was also my #1 book. It is now lowered to the second spot, but doesn't make it any less valuable or appreciated. This was a book. This was at the time, back when I lived in New York, the most expensive comic I ever bought. I paid $5,000 for this book. At the time, I had my own massage therapy business. It was right before Christmas, and I sold a lot of gift certificates for Christmas. Had extra money, had an opportunity to get this book, and I jumped on it. This book is probably worth about triple what I paid for it now, especially with the movie that just came out. Fantastic Four, issue #1. Now, it does have glue on the spine, but again, like I said, if they say tape is not restoration, my personal belief does not believe that that glue should be also restoration. That's my opinion. You could differ, you could agree. Again, if it's not stained with glue, which it's not, to me, just doesn't make sense. To me, it's not a big deal and it's not a deal breaker anyway. But look at also signed by Stan Lee on the first page. Now, back in the days when people got books signed, and even at my time, went back in the early 90s, because I had a couple of old time people when I gave them the books to sign, they would open the front cover and they would write on the bottom on the front page. That's what they used to do. Most people didn't want to, what they considered ruin the cover by having anybody sign it. So they would always have, for the most part, the first page on the bottom signed. So Stanley's signature is confirmed to be in this book for Fantastic Four, issue #1, first appearance of the Fantastic Four, at a 2.5 off-white to white pages. Paid $5,000 for this book. But like I said, was the most expensive book I ever purchased. I think I paid 5,000 for two other books, but I've never paid more than that ever. I mean, 5,000 is not always easy to come by, at least for me. Maybe for you, and if it's something that it's easy for you, God bless you, Allah bless you, Cabbage Patch bless you. Okay, this one I actually kept the label too. This is now my #1 book. And by the way, I want to thank everybody for watching. Don't forget my live comic book auction is on August 3rd, which is this coming Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Also, don't forget, if you join my Patreon, not only will you get a shout out, you can get early access to any of my future auctions. So you can make offers on any of them before they ever see the auction. So if you make an offer and I accept it, it's no longer on the auction, which means you don't have to worry about missing the auction, being outbid on something you wanted, or get into a bidding war and pay much more than you had to. We're currently at 15 paid members. We get to 20, I got the giveaway. So only 5 away. So if you want to join and do the minimum of $2, that's perfectly fine. But here's my #1. This book, this person was selling it for about 7,500. Got them down to 5,000. So this is actually the most expensive book because after taxes and I gave free shipping. So after taxes, I paid $5,350 for this book. Okay. This was originally a CGC book, which was originally a 3.5. Now, when I saw this book, I said there is no way that this book is going to stay a 3.5 because it had a lot of non-color break increases to the point where the front cover, if you put it on an angle, the entire front cover was wrinkled. So the entire cover, and that's why it got a 3.5. So it wasn't like one or two little spots where there's non-pressable defects. The entire front cover was a wrinkled mess. You could see it if you put it in the light. Sent this to PGX. They pressed it. They took 2 days for me to get it pressed out. They really did me such a service, and I cannot thank PGX and Daniel Patterson anymore. They have been nothing but good to me, especially since I'm a nobody channel that I'm lucky to get 300 views on a video if I'm lucky. And they still work with me even after 8 years. They actually allowed me to have faster turnaround service for free on this one. Even though it almost got lost in the mail, not because of them, but because for the one time I've ever did it, I went to the post office and said, I want to pay for the overnight express to keep it from getting lost in the mail, only for it to get lost in the mail. And it took like 2 or 3 days for them to find it. It was a horror show. But ultimately, it was fixed. I actually thought it'd be a higher grade, but I am definitely not going to complain. So here is my Tales of Suspense, number 39, at a 5.0. Now, here's something that most people don't know about, and even I didn't know about, but thanks to some of my viewers who left comments, let me know. This is what they call a perfect cut of Tales of Suspense number 39. Now, why do I say that? If you were to look up about 90% of all Tales of Suspense 39 books, you will notice that right where it says Iron Man, those quotes will you'll only see one of the two quotes or none at all. In other words, it was miscut on most of the books. And it's not trimmed. It's just a miscut where they cut it, and they cut it to the point where most of them show either one of the quotes or none at all, and it goes straight to the exclamation point. Now, I have another thing. Most will have that or the other one, but not both. What I have is very rare. On the bottom here, there's also, if you look, most of the miscuts are here as well, because you'll see the table. You'll see there's blue, like the blue on the top. Most of the books are cut to the point where it goes here, where you never see the blue. So if you see Tales of Suspense 39 for sale, go look on eBay. The ones for sale and the ones sold. Most of them have neither. Some have one or the other. This copy has both. So at a 5.0, I paid $5,352. As of now, a 5.0 sells for roughly about $11,000 to $12,000. And I got this person to sell it to me for $5,000. And again, I kept the original label because when I saw this book and I saw all those wrinkles and everything, I said there is no way that a pressing will not help this book. I actually thought might get into the 7 range. Because look, even the back, look how beautiful. And PGX did such a great job with the pressing. But considering all the things that happened with this book, almost getting lost in the mail and everything, this is one of those books I think I'm not going to take the chance ever again. I'll be very happy with a 5.0, but I actually thought this might become a 7. But I'm not going to complain. So that is my number 1 book. Tales of Suspense number 39, first appearance of Iron Man. Because here's the thing. You notice there's not a lot of red here and a lot of red here. What happened is whoever owned this book at some point had this either hanging on their wall at home or hanging on a wall in a comic shop, and the sun got to it. But here's the beautiful thing about this cover. Blue does not get affected by the sunlight. Yellows and reds do. But because this book is mostly blue, black and gray and white, and the only parts that got affected was the red around here and the red around here, the sun loss discoloration only affected the red area. You have to know about even something as simple as like light, science and light, to know about how the sun doesn't affect all colors of the spectrum. So it does not touch blue. And this book is mostly blue, gray, and white with a little bit of red, and that faded because of the sun. Love this book. Very happy with it. Deals are always out there. Don't ever let anybody discourage you, or don't discourage yourself. It's like I said, my 4PGX books, I was supposed to do the video 2 days ago, but at 3 o'clock in the morning, thanks to my cats fighting and waking me up in the middle of the night, I happened to come across 6 key books, all being sold by the same seller. With Buy It Nows, where one of them, the price was so unbelievable, I didn't even bother with the best offer because I figured by the time I sent the best offer, somebody else would have stolen it. And the others, I took the chance and made best offers, and they accepted happily. And they're arriving as of now, I believe Monday. We'll see again. Let's see what the post office does as far as keeping their promise and when a book arrives. Um, but those are 2 of those books will be in my next 4 to get graded. So I cannot wait to show those. So those are my top 25 books. I have many other comics. I have many other videos that show some of my other books. Now, unlike some people in the comic book community, I don't have millions of dollars to be buying these books. A lot of times, some of these more expensive ones, like for example, I had my mother contribute, like it would be my birthday, Christmas, and wedding anniversary presents combined, where she would put in some of the payments and everything, or times where I use PayPal credit, which, like for example, with that Tales of Suspense 39, I tell people how you can actually buy comics and not spend any of your own money. Obviously, not stealing or anything or doing anything dishonest, but doing it in a legit way. But I want to instill in people that my collection, if you watch my first top 50 video, which I did back when I lived in New York, so it's about 7 or 8 years ago, and you see my top 50, I think maybe one of those books is in it. And you would see books now that wouldn't even be in my top 200. Because I learned over time how to spot and make deals, turn around and sell them, and use the profits to upgrade to better and better collections. So it took me about 7 or 8 years of doing that process over and over again to build the collection I have. So, it's easy for a person that has millions of dollars in their bank account to just spend whatever amount on key book after key book because to me, it's a no-brainer if you have $11,000 to buy an $11,000 book. But can you buy an $11,000 book for $5,000? And I'm talking about the same year it has that value. Can you find deals? Can you make deals? That is what I try and teach people. And when you see the books that are coming this Monday, I mean, they're not Holy Grail level, but they're one step below. They're mega grails. One of them, I didn't think I'd ever get back again because the books are so expensive. I got it for about 75% under its value. And that's why when I hear multiple different channels tell you that if you want to invest in comics, be prepared to hold them for 5 or 10 years. If you have to hold something for 5 or 10 years, you're doing something wrong. And I want to show people that time and time again, if you make deals happen, if you look for deals, they are always out there. You miss 100% of the shots you don't ever take. And like I said, these books that are coming, um, I was asleep. And around 3:30 in the morning, my cats woke me up. And when I get woken up in the middle of the night, I can't go back to sleep right away. So I decided to go and look on eBay. And these were literally just listed. Bought the first 2 comics when I saw the price, even though it had a best offer, because I was like, there's no way I'm going to miss this opportunity trying to get even lower on what was a steal. Like I said, about 75% off of its value, maybe more. The other two, the other four comics, because they were two in each auction, I was like, you know what? I'll take the chance and see if I can get a better offer. And they accepted it. And both of them, I got an offer for between one for 50% less than what they were initially trying to sell it for, and the other one about 35% less. And even at those prices, they were way undervalued. Deals are out there. You just got to find them. You got to put in the effort. You got to know what to look for. You got to look for pressable defects. You got to look for things like this. This is a 9.8 first real true appearance of Gambit. This is the annual X-Men Annual 14, signed by Art Adams, but as you could see, green label, because at the time this was graded, CGC does not do signature verification. Now, I have many Art Adams signatures, so that looks perfectly legit. They sent this to the wrong company. I spent $365 for this book. I'm going to one day, when I get the chance, I'm going to resubmit this, crack it open, send it to PGX. They'll do a signature verification. And unless something happens or CGC misgraded it, it should come back a 9.8 with now a blue label confirming Art Adams' signature. So you got to know what to look for. And if you're not willing to put in the effort, don't be surprised you don't reap the reward. And I think that's why so many people, I guess, hate my channel, because I am not afraid to take chances. I don't go with what's mainstream. I go with what feels right in my heart. And I succeed more than I fail. And again, I don't have millions of dollars in a bank account. I mean, like I've told people, I've been unemployed since October of 2023. I don't have government payments. I don't get food stamps or any handouts. How do I make a living? By what I'm doing on August 3rd, and that's doing my live auction. Those comics help to pay the bills. And like you could see here, one of my viewers sent their monthly payment plan payment. And once they fully complete their payments, they'll get their comics and everybody's happy. So check out my auction on August 3rd. Join my Patreon at patreon.com/LouLoveComics, where you'll get your name shouted out. And again, all paid members get early access to my future comic auctions a week before even the sneak peek video, which, by the way, the sneak peek video is out. And as of now, I only had, well, one of the books is not on the sneak peek video because somebody already made an offer, and that's the Hulk 181. But somebody else made an offer for the X-Men 94, which I accepted and then never heard from them again. And after 3 emails of asking if they were still interested, if they can at least let me know of silence, I assumed the person changed their mind when they could have just emailed me. But all the books on the sneak peek as of now are available for sale. So you can either contact me early at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com, make an offer by looking at the sneak peek video I did last Sunday, and make an offer. And if I accept it, payment plans are available, cash and money order discounts available and apply. And you don't have to worry about missing the auction, being outbid on an auction, or overspending on an auction. And what I also do is any unsold comic or any comic that somebody does not honor their win and pay for, I give people up to 1 week after the auction is done to purchase any unsold books for at least the minimum of what the auction started as, unless more than one person asked for it. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you for your thumbs up or your thumbs down. Let me know what you thought about my thumbnail. If you want to critique it, either good, bad, or indifferent, always appreciate your opinions. I would love to hear your opinions about my collection, how long you've been watching my channel, why you watch my channel, and let's give our shout outs. Shout out's going to go to Kim N, you're one. And we're going to go with X Daredevil. Both of you are today's surprise subscriber shout outs. And I also want to give a special thank you to Silver Age Surfer for that $10 donation that they put in the super chat. That was really nice of you. And always appreciate people's generosity. So let's give our shout outs a shout out. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys, unless I do a video in the next day or so, we'll see. But hopefully I'll see you at the auction on Sunday, August 3rd at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. If you know anybody that looks to buy comics, and again, all of the comics I sell, they're all graded. 95% of them are graded by me, and I sell with payment plans. I give cash and money order discounts. I will package quickly and securely. If you know anybody that's interested in key comics, contact them and share the video and get people to come to my auction, because the quote unquote worst comic in the auction is Fantastic Four number 49 of 4.0. So that'll be the first comic, unless somebody makes me an offer before then and steals it away from you and you lose your chance. So that's my story and I'm sticking to it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for leaving your comments. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, it is not you, it is not I, it is We Love Comics. Have a wonderful day, and don't forget to have your trolls spayed or neutered.